good things to show you. Okay, so this video here is about starts and stops. So whenever you start stitching a motif or even stitching in the ditch, whatever you're doing, you always have to start somewhere by bringing the bobbin thread up, locking in the stitches, and then start stitching. And when you get finished with that process, you do the same thing, but you lock in your stitches at the end, and then you bring the bobbin thread up. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about that. But I want to tell you, years ago when I first got into quilting, the starts and stops was something that I had a really hard time with lining up my, my starts and stops, because basically what I was doing was stitching on top of stitches, which is what I still do. And I also had a hard time with bringing my bobbin thread up. I couldn't understand how all that worked. But the more I practiced, the better I got at it. And that now it's all just second nature to me, as it will be for you. You just have to practice. So bringing the bobbin thread up when I'm teaching beginners, that's probably a hard thing for them too. So I have to go over it a few times with them until they finally get it, which I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I want them to learn how to do it. So I'm going to do some demos on this and show you exactly what I mean. So bear with me. I'm going to turn my camera around. Let's see here. Okay. And you see the pretty quilt in the background there. All right, let's see if I can get this. Now, what I've done here is I have this piece of fabric with batting and backing on it. And this is just a little piece that I can show you some demonstrations, exactly what I mean when I say starts and stops or bringing up the bobbin thread. I have a quilt on, and I actually don't want to do it on that because I want to use a contrasting thread to really, so you can really see what I'm doing. So let me just zoom in, and I'm going to zoom way in because, and I'm going to have to adjust my camera as well. I wish all this was just magic and it just happened, adjusting the camera and all that, but it doesn't, so bear with me. Okay, I do hope that is close enough. Still adjusting here. Okay. Okay, and I am using a blue thread, and if you can't see that, I may have to change to a darker color. So I want to zoom in more, so let's do that. Okay. Okay. All right. So basically what you're going to do when you bring that bobbin thread up is, let me just see something here real quick. I probably should have tried this before I even started, but oh, you can see it pretty good. So I hope. All right. So never mind that. That's just a test. All right, so when bringing the bobbin thread up, what we want to do is we want to find a place where we want to actually start. So I'm going to get some more light on the subject here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start right here. Oh, and let me show you one more thing. So I've got this clamp on the back. I don't think you could see it, but there is a clamp holding that piece, this piece of fabric on, and you can pin it or whatever. And then down here on the end, I have it wrapped around the pole, and I'm using my belly to hold the fabric. So that's how I roll when I'm doing things like this, and I'll even practice different motifs doing this. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we're going to hold on to our top thread nice and taut. We don't want to pull, just so that it's nice and taut. Okay, so needle down, needle up. I'm going to move my machine, and you can see that bobbin thread popped up. So I'm going to grab it. All right, I'm going to bring it back over to where that bobbin thread came out, and then I'm going to start locking in my stitches, but let's do that one more time. Oh, I wish the lighting was better. Okay, so one more time with that. Find the position in which you want to start, needle down, needle up, move the machine, and see, look, that bobbin thread comes right up. You grab that bobbin thread. Now, since I moved my machine, and sometimes I'll move my machine further, but when you bring the machine back to where that bobbin came out, there is a loop under there from the bobbin. So you want to grab your bobbin thread as well as your top thread, and you want to give a little tug so that loop comes out. Have you often wondered, you've quilted some quilts and on the back, those little loops? Well, that's probably why right there. All right, so now I'm going to lock in my stitches. So I'm going to take 6 tiny, tiny stitches, and they are so small. 1, I'm barely moving the machine. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I always like to lock in with 6 stitches. Okay, you can go forward with 3 and backwards with 3 if you want to. Sometimes I do that as well. So now I'm going to stitch my design. I'm going to stitch my design. Okay, I'm just going to make a straight line is what I'm going to do. All right, now I'm finished. So now what I want to do is I want to lock in my stitches because I don't want them to come out. I have no tails. All I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 stitches has locked that in. You don't go in the same hole when you're locking in these stitches. If you do that, you're building up a knot on the back of the quilt. So you barely want to move your machine. Now we want to cut our thread, so we're going to bring our needle up, move our machine back, grab the top thread. Make sure you grab, and make sure you get enough thread. Grab the top thread, bring it back over to where it came out. You're going to go needle down, needle up, and move your machine, and there's that bobbin thread. So the bobbin thread is a loop. All right, it's looped around the top thread. So you're going to grab the bobbin thread, and you're going to grab the top thread. So you have them all here, and then you're going to clip right to the surface. And then you'll come back over here and you will clip this right to the surface. And with 6 tiny, tiny stitches, those stitches are locked in pretty good. I'm just going to turn on a light here. Oh, that's better. Sometimes the light kind of blinds us. Let's do that again. Needle down, needle up, pull that bobbin thread up, grab the bobbin thread, come back to where that bobbin thread came out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 tiny, tiny stitches and stitch. Okay, now lock in those stitches when you're finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now we're going to move our machine back, get a good amount of thread. Don't be afraid to pull on it. If you have to pull from here, do so. Now we're going to bring it back, needle down, needle up. There's my bobbin thread. It's a loop. That's what I'm looking for. Grabbing my top thread and my bobbin thread, and I'm going to clip to the surface without cutting the quilt. You don't want to clip the quilt. All right, so that's bringing the bobbin thread up. Now, what if you are, let's just say we're going to I'm going to quilt a little design here. So here we go. I'm going to quilt a design, and I'm going to end up right back where I started. So just a little wave here. All right, I ended right back where I started, and I should have locked my stitches in the very beginning, and I didn't do that because I got in a hurry, I guess. But don't forget to lock your stitches in when you start. So when we want to lock in this way, we want to overlap exactly on those stitches. So I'm going to just stitch a little bit on top, right on top of those stitches. And then about anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, you're going to stitch out. And then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I always do 6 stitches. Some people do less. You know, it's your choice. You do whatever works for you. And then we get ourselves enough thread, top thread, bring it back over, needle down, needle up, bring that bobbin thread up, grab the bobbin thread and the top thread, and clip right to the surface. And we would clip this as well. So one more time. This time I'm going to come down this way. Okay, now we're going to go up. And again, I didn't lock in my stitches when I started. I got in a hurry, shame on me. Okay, but I do want to lock these stitches in. So if you need to use a ruler, I don't have a ruler base on here, so I'm not going to use a ruler. But if you need to, make sure that you have a ruler base on. And I'm going to follow this line right here. Since I did not lock in these stitches when I started, I'm going to travel down about 1/4 of an inch. And now I'm going to put in my tiny stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And bring my bobbin thread back up. And lock it in. It's locked in. Okay, so what happened here, and I know that it's happened to you, is that I moved the machine, just barely moved it when I was trying to bring that needle back up, and it caused the bobbin to jam. Oh, it unjammed all by itself. Wow, imagine that. Usually it doesn't do that. So now I'm going to clip right to the surface. But if it doesn't do that, I will clip my thread and I will put my needle back down. And if there's any large thread down in there, it will come up. Or you can take your bobbin case off, and sometimes I have to do that. So don't move your machine when you're bringing your bobbin thread up, because it can cause those issues right there. So I hope this helped you. Let me turn this camera back around. Sorry about that. All right, so I hope this helped. And it's very important that we always bring that bobbin thread up, because if we don't, what happens is you could get a bunch of bird's nests underneath, and not just that, but your bobbin can get jammed up and you can have just all kinds of issues going on. So make sure you always bring your bobbin thread up. You lock in your stitches, and if you have to overlap on other stitches, make sure you go anywhere from maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, travel down those stitches, and then lock your stitches in. And pull that bobbin thread up again. So that's just a process that has to be done. And when I first started, and I'm just gonna use my fingers as an example, and I hope this helps, but I should not be able to see this fingernail at all. This one here. This is my overlap on my stitches on top. This is my stitch on top, and this is the one on the bottom, and I'm overlapping about 1/4 of an inch. All right, and then I lock in my stitches. So that's how it should look. It should not look like this. And let me just show you an example of how it should not look. I should have done that, but all right, I'm going to turn this around again. Okay, so here we go. All right, so when you are overlapping stitches, okay, I'm going to overlap right here. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to overlap right here. This is where I started. And so if it looks like this, I'm going to stitch down a little ways. Overlap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that was 6. Pull up my bobbin thread. And cut the tail. Now, you can see, let me get rid of these threads here. You can see right here that when I came down, it's not right on top of the stitches. And you know what? If that happens, it's not that big of a deal, especially if you are not using a contrasting thread like I am. Normally, with this type of fabric, if this was a background fabric, pretty much I would be using a white, off-white, or maybe even a cream color thread. And it would not be noticeable at all. So keep that in mind. But if you're using a contrasting thread, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb, just like that did right there. So just take your time with it, and eventually you'll get it. I did. I had a really hard time with that. I'm turning the camera around again. Bear with me here. Well, here we go. Okay. So just take your time and, sorry about that. Take your time when learning how to bring that bobbin thread up, and also take your time when locking in those stitches. And again, I hope this helped you. And remember, we have to practice, practice, and practice. So keep on quilting. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And I do have a website. Please check it out, jackiesmachinequilting.com. Thank you.